What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Buffalo State Bengals Dynasty on NCAA Football 14. It's been a weird start to the year for the Bengals, who officially have started worse than in Season 1, where they started 1-2. After a loss to New Mexico, they are 0-3. Of course, this is largely due to the injury of starting quarterback Lance Rice, as they've had to choose between Eric Rowe and Adrian Armstrong, neither of which are exactly the safest bets and are completely different players on paper. Since many people are counting Season 2 as a throwaway season, let's see what's going on in recruiting. But before we get to that, I have to thank all of my helpers, being Crayniaq Gaming, HuskieNationTV, JackTalksCFB, John Jake Gaming, RNP, Octagonal Gaming, and Husker Ninja. Go subscribe to them in the description, as they have excellent content and I could not have done this without them. Also, if you want your recruit to be in the series like Dekeon Hardy here, be sure to check out the link in the description to submit your recruit for next season. That being said, let's get right into it with Dekeon Hardy. Speaking of which, 6'1", 215 from Buffalo, New York. He's a 5-star player and the premier corner in this class. I know what you're probably thinking, right? Does he have a chance to go to Buffalo State? He's got excellent ball skills, great tackling, he's got a big frame, everything you want in a corner. The simple answer is no. He's looking at bigger schools. Buffalo State just isn't there yet, but it does show some of the talent that is in the region. And I think Dekeon Hardy is going to be a very special player wherever he ends up. But unfortunately, that's not going to be at Buffalo State. Moving forward, we have a bit of a gadget player, and this is a weird one in Lucas Linares, 5'11", 206, and this guy can do it all. He is basically a high school version of Taysom Hill. Some people are dubbing him as Taysom Hill 2.0 because he's a much better passer than Taysom was. And on top of that, he's proven to be elite in open space, runs the option extremely well, and even played wide receiver in his early years as he awaited the opportunity to play quarterback. Of course, he's going to play quarterback at the next level. I don't think there's any question about that, but whoever ends up with them is going to have a very interesting player, and a very dynamic one at that, as he can do pretty much everything. Lucas Linares, Taysom Hill 2.0. He is currently looking at a few schools, but it seems that LSU has the firm lead, rightfully so. He is an SEC talent. Tons of potential. Moving forward, speaking of potential, we have Johnathan, a 5'11", 228-pound defensive end from Syracuse, New York. Buffalo State tried to talk to him, obviously, as you do, and they even offered him a chance to play two ways, as he is a defensive end and a fullback potentially, but he opted to take his defensive end talents to a higher level school and left Buffalo State in the dust. But this guy is extremely talented, high motor, extremely physical, and I would say he's the top edge rusher in this year's class in terms of just raw explosiveness and talent. He's definitely a special athlete, maybe a little undersized, but many experts project him to do very well at the next level just because of his motor alone. It seems weird to say, but we really need to be rooting for Ohio State to win this battle, because he also has a lot of interest in Army, who is now in our conference, so that would not be good if we have to go up against him once a year. One thing very notable is that there is a lot of talent on the East Coast this year, specifically Northern, and we make our way to Boston, Massachusetts to check out Braxton Liberty, and he's just an absolute freak. Super fast, explosive, can play outside, can play inside. He's got versatility, explosiveness, raw speed, and open field awareness. This guy can do it all. Even like line him up in the backfield, let him run a toss to the right side or something, throw it up for him on third down. The opportunities are really endless with Braxton, and of course, with a guy with this much talent, he's going to be your primary kick returner. I think he is a special player, and we really need to hope that we don't have to see him. Braxton is currently looking at teams in much larger conferences, specifically the SEC, so I think it's a fair bet that Buffalo State will not have to see him at any point in his college career, which is a definite win for Buffalo State. They should be celebrating. Moving forward to Brandenton, Florida, specifically IMG Academy, and we have Fresco Bundles, a 6'4", 240-pound tight end. Fresco is really more of a balanced tight end, really similar to Barrett Flood, who we covered last year and ended up at Washington State University. He just has a really balanced skill set. He's not going to be excellent at one thing. He is a much better inline blocker than he gets credit for, and I think he's even better in that department than Flood was last year. The reality that Buffalo State is facing right now is that tight end is an extremely in-demand position, and it's difficult to get your hands on a good one, especially when the entire country is competing for one. Gonna be really difficult for them to get a guy like Fresco Bundles, who will naturally favor the Georgias and the LSUs. He's an excellent player, but not the same type that Buffalo State can expect to get for some time. Moving forward to Ayden Alonzo, 5'9", 190 from New York, New York. Another guy from that general East Side area that is extremely talented. They have a lot of good ones this year. Alonzo specifically, extremely fast and explosive. I think he's a rich man's Leon Jacobs coming out, which is absolutely terrifying. He's smaller than Jacobs is, and I think he's less powerful. More of going to be that scat all-purpose back, as Leon Jacobs is mostly just an outside tackle type of runner, more of like a Chris Johnson type. Probably the most explosive players in this class are from the East Coast, being Braxton Liberty and Ayden Alonzo. They're just extremely talented players and blue chip guys if you want a dynamic player to change your offense. As you can see, Army is currently in the lead for him. And obviously with them being in our conference, it is so significant that Pittsburgh takes the lead and catches up, or we'll have to see him once a season. So this season, I was going to stay away from California. And then I was told about Ernie Steele, a 6'5" physical specimen linebacker, and I said, well, hell, I need to send an area scout over there. Even though Buffalo State has no chance at this guy, we have to acknowledge just how big and beefy he is and how much he pops out on film. He can do it all. He can move. He can cover. He'll remove you from your soul. Ernie Steele, watch out for him. He is a California boy, so he will definitely stay in the Pac-12 at one of the big four California schools. And I'm confident they're getting a future first-round pick. A guy who's a little more underlooked, Bender Rover. Does that name sound familiar? It should, because this is the younger brother of Oliver Rover, who graduated from Buffalo State last year. And you have to think that Bender is going to give Buffalo State and Malik Dupree a chance. And indeed, he is going to. Expected to announce his commitment anytime now. Buffalo State is in firm lead, and no one has touched him. He's flown under the radar and has something to prove. Look out for Bender Rover next season. We will take a look at more of Buffalo State's targets in the next part of the recruiting special, coming a few episodes from now, so be on the lookout. But they have 3 players already committed. Andrew Poland is a big one for them, as he's a 2-star tackle that has a lot of upside, and I mean a lot of upside. I think he's even better right now than where his 2-star rating projects him. He mauls people over, he's big, he's powerful, and he's pretty much the size of the country Poland itself. He committed early, and it's great that he did, because Buffalo State needs a lot of help at O-line next season. As we move forward to the defensive line, Michael Bullock uses all of his 6'4", 270-pound frame. He's a big dude, he has great football instincts, and he is a powerful rusher. He's a guy they might want to develop for a little bit, but he's going to be good. And as for Tom Fontaine, he's a great player, 5'11", 313, but COVID restrictions made us unable to check him out. Regardless of that, though, thank you all so much for watching. It has been a very fun recruiting episode. Please drop a like right now. It takes less than a second, helps the channel a whole lot. Franchise and Dynasty content is all we do here. We can build a winner together at Buffalo State. Signing out. Take care, everybody.